Hey guys, what's going on? This is Promise here from Clarity Gaming. With me on the call is going to be Millennium Goswser, Michael. How do you say your last name, Michael? I'm a little bit lost right now.
Dobler.
Okay, Michael
But
Dobler. I looked on Skype. I saw Michael, but I did not see your last name. I apologize. But hey, how's it going, man? I know that you've been playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm. This is actually a replay we're going to be looking at right now. You against HTO Mario. I'm not going to ruin any kind of results in this game. Obviously, I hope you win it. But tell me a little bit about like your playing in Heart of the Swarm. How have you been doing? What strategies have you been trying out? And how do you like the game so far?
so far I've been winning a lot, but I think a lot of it's due to everyone else not being that experienced at Heart of the Swarm yet. And there's not that much of a meta game developed yet. Like, it's more when I play people, they're either doing Wings of Liberty builds or some specific style. It's not like Wings of Liberty where you can kind of scout for predictable things and just respond to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. So what I want to ask you specifically is, how do you think Zerg is currently favored? I mean, a lot of people, first let's see the replay that we're having. It's going to be you against a guy by the name of HTO Mario, who's a Terran player. The map's going to be on Newkirk City, which is, of course, a Heart of the Swarm, a beta map that we're currently using. Now, talk to me a little bit about the matchup. TVZ, what has been giving you a little bit of trouble? What do you think is maybe a little bit too strong from the Terran side and maybe even from the Zerg side?
So far, the only thing in TVZ that I've had trouble with is QXC. Other than that, I usually beat all the Terrans, and when I lose, it's just stupid mistakes.
Okay.
Like the Terran players on ladder, at least, the ones who are high ranked are mostly Koreans, and for some reason, I don't think they played that much Heart of the Swarm, so they just do like Wings of Liberty builds and don't even use new units. So none of what they do is giving me trouble. But when I was practicing with QXC a bit, he's using a lot of the new units and using some mech compositions with lots of Widowmine and Battle Hellion.
Okay.
And I had a hard time against that kind of play, I think.
All right, so let's see so far about the openings from both sides. I mean, the Terran player right now, he's kind of just going for a very standard one rack to expand. Now he's going to grab gases, 2 gases in the main, so he's probably going to be teching very, very aggressively. And now he's taking a 3rd CC. So what are you kind of thinking at this stage? What's your early opening usually here in the TVZ matchup?
Usually I like to go kind of defensive roaches and get kind of 1-1 upgrades pretty fast and just get a quick lair so I can scout with an overseer, get roach speed, secure my 3rd, and just play defensively.
Okay.
Especially in a match against a player like HTO Mario. I don't know who he is, but I think I would usually assume I'm better than he is if I don't know who he is. So
Okay.
I'm just going to try to play safe. And what I'm doing here
Tell me about that, man. I'm looking in the center of the map. I see a whole bunch of creep. What's going on with that?
This isn't actually my build. I stole it from TLO, but it's awesome, so I use it. You like hatch cancel, and you start spreading creep from kind of a bit out of the natural instead of from the natural, and it gives you a lot better creep spread. And I think I just did it on a whim in this game. Usually I go roaches off of like 2 queen, but for some reason I decided to do this.
Okay, so far, I mean, if we just look at your kind of follow-up here, you're going up to layer at a very standard time. You're adding double evolution chambers. You have a roach worn down. So it looks like, I mean, at the early stages here, you're pretty much committed to a lot of roaches in the early game. Am I right?
Kind of. I mean, I'm not going to build a lot of them, I don't think. I'll probably make like 8 or 10 to just be safe defensively. In Wings of Liberty, I would only make 4 to 6. But I think you need like 8 or 10 usually in Heart of the Swarm, because some people go like fast battle heavy drop, and if you don't have enough roaches, then you can't split between your main and your natural well enough. We'll have to see. Maybe I'll just go with like 6 or something. But
Yeah,
I think
usually, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, usually kind of like what Zerg players did in Wings of Liberty. They made like 7, 8 roaches. They would pressure a little bit on the Terran to keep themselves on their side of the map, and then usually they would like take a 3rd, drone up behind it, or even take a 4th. So it looks like right now you're not really committing to a lot of roaches. You're kind of just making them a little bit defensively, or maybe even just to get a little bit of scouting.
Yeah, I used to pressure a lot at the beginning when I started playing Heart of the Swarm, but I find that it's a lot harder to pressure Terran in Heart of the Swarm than it is in Wings, just because they have early Widow Mines, and a lot of Terrans build like one early Siege Tank, or they scout you with like one early Reaper. So I found it like increasingly harder to do damage to Terran players when I poke. So I just want to keep them back, because if I poke out with all of them and like 4 Hellions run by, I can take a lot of damage.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Hydras. So, Roach Hydra, it's kind of a little bit similar to what Stefano's been doing a little bit recently in Wings of Liberty. So, Hydras, they have an increase in range now. I believe they're a little bit faster as well. There's an upgrade that you can get from the Hydralisk stand. So, Roach Hydra, is this kind of a composition that's been used a lot more? Is this stronger than maybe Infestors? Because quite honestly, I don't really see a lot of Infestors in this matchup anymore.
So far, at least when I've played in Heart of the Swarm, I think it's been the best composition I've used so far, because Widow Mines and Battle Hellions make, along with the Medevac speed boost, make other compositions that Terran does a lot stronger against like Ling Heavy or Ling Banling or Ling Banling Infestor compositions. But Roach Hydra, you can kind of negate that. You can kind of stay back from the Widow Mines and kill them at a distance. And you can kite Battle Hellions pretty well with Roach Hydra as well. And like as Stefan has shown, you can go toe to toe with Bio with it as well.
So I'm looking at your vision right now. You don't really have a lot of scouting information. I mean, you see the natural. That's pretty obvious. You're not really going to see a third, but that's actually a very greedy quick third from Mario. Do you feel confident going up against Mech? I mean, do you even know at this stage if he's going Mech? Would you be assuming, just because? I mean, a lot of people in TVZ have really just been going very heavy siege tanks and battle Hellions and even late game compositions with Thors.
Yeah, Roach Hydra is usually really good against Mech, at least in Wings of Liberty. And so far in Heart of the Swarm, I found it's the best composition against Mech as well.
Okay.
Against Bio, it works pretty well anyway. I should probably have scouted more, but I was confident entering the match against HQ Mario because I had no idea who he was. So I just kind of assumed I was a bit better than him and didn't scout as much. And I had pretty good creep, so I wasn't going to get surprised by an attack at my front door, only by a drop or something. And I'm building some defenses for that now, so I think I'm pretty safe, even though I'm obviously not scouting as well as I should have.
Yeah, I definitely noticed back home you're throwing down a Spore to deal with medevacs. You have some spines in case of any kind of marine drops. Of course, battle Hellion drops have been so annoying. I'm pretty sure you've experienced a lot of just battle Hellions in general on ladders, so that's really, really good to have defense. You have Overlords around the map as well to be able to spot the medevacs, so you have some really good map coverage. So Mario now is just going to take a 4th expansion. Your creep is basically, I mean, he can see the creep, and it's only 14 minutes into the game, so that's some really, really solid creep spread. Now you're going to make some Vipers. Vipers are pretty good, Michael. Abduct, Blinding Cloud. What do you think about the Viper? Do you think it's a little bit overpowered in this matchup?
It seems that way when you look at it as a unit, but I'm not sure, because we'll have to see how it interacts with like the new metagame that develops, and like how it interacts with the other new units the other races have. If you like take it by itself in like Wings of Liberty, it would be super overpowered, I think. But we'll have to see, because Widow Mines and Battle Hellion are really good too. Like this composition that Mario is pushing across the map with is so difficult to engage with a ground army. If I go close to it, then the Widow Mines just burrow, the Siege Tank siege, the Battle Hellions tank a lot, and I just lose everything.
So I'm gonna pause really quickly. You see me pause the game, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. So if we look at the army composition of Mario, you basically nailed it. It's mainly siege tanks. Of course, they do very good against roaches. Battle Hellions or Hellbats, the old Firebat, I guess you can say. They're very good against Zerglings. The problem here is actually going to be the siege tanks in the Widow Mine, in my opinion. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Okay.
The Battle Hellions in this case aren't a big a deal. It's more of a big deal if you go for like Overlord drop and try to drop on top of the tanks. Then the Battle Hellions do a lot of splash damage. But in this case, it's mostly the Widow Mines and the tanks.
Okay, so you basically, if we look at your units, you have mainly roaches. Of course, the Vipers are going to be very good for Blinding Cloud as well as abducting the siege tanks. And Terran without tanks, man, they're kind of useless, especially compared to, or looking at Mario. He's very committed into the siege tanks. So your production tab, you're making an Ultralisk Cavern. You're transitioning basically into Hive Tech with these Ultras. So are you just trying to buy yourself enough time to get it on the map, or what are you kind of thinking in this position?
I think I built a lot of Vipers. I think I have like 9 on the field right now, and I'm about max. So I'm thinking I just want to try to kill this army with my Rotider Viper, and then go heavy Ultralisk. But composition, if the Widow Mines are bird, it's really difficult for me to fight. So I'm just trying to pick off all the units individually with the Vipers and abduct, and it's working pretty well. But he's getting closer to my base, and we'll have to see. You have to be careful if the Widow Mines are bird, because I think they one-shot Vipers. So you don't want that to happen, obviously, like that. Maybe it's 2 shots, but if he has a lot of Widow Mines, Vipers can
They're very
strong.
strong. Yeah, they still have splash damage too, so they deal quite a bit of damage. So Mario's just going to kill your expansion. Not really a huge deal. I mean, you can easily get it. I mean, you have a lot of minerals, you have a lot of gas. He's not going to swing around. So you are kind of trying to catch him a little bit here with his pants down, trying to come in from the back, possibly just get a few abducts on the remaining army, because that's not really too much here for Mario.
Yeah, and here I use Blinding Cloud. It works kind of well against the tanks. They're not shooting anything, but he still has so many Hellbats and Widow Mines that I lose most of my units anyway.
Okay.
It does look like I'm cleaning this up though, which is good. And I'm still in a good spot. I have 4 mining bases and a 5th rebuilding right now. And I haven't switched to Ultralisk yet. I'm still just repowering on Roaches. But I feel like I'm in a good spot. I conserved most of my Vipers. I cleaned up the push. I don't think I figured out he took a 4th yet, so I still think I thought he was on 3 bases. And I just kind of, I think I felt like I had the game in the bag at this point with my bank. Along with my army, I feel like my composition's pretty good with the 6 Vipers and pretty Roach heavy. You can do pretty well as long as you use Abduct and Blinding Cloud.
I agree. I mean, the thing about mech and TVZ is it's a very scary army. It just takes a lot of time to build, and you kind of defended the attack very nicely. Now it looks like you're going to go for a little bit of a push. You're going to abduct some siege tanks. Very, very annoying for Mario to lose all these siege tanks. So, I mean, I don't really think you're kind of committing here. You're just controlling the map. I mean, you might have actually... No. I was going to say you might have been able to overcommit, but no. That's a lot of Thors and siege tanks. So you're just controlling the map, basically.
Yeah, I think I backed off mostly because of the Widow Mines. That was the big deal. The Thors and the tanks, I can just kind of stay to the side and abduct them one at a time and kill them with the Roaches until I'm out of energy. But with all the Widow Mines, you have to be careful because you don't want to lose the Vipers. They cost a lot of gas. But I definitely felt like I had the game at this point. Like, I still have a huge bank. I have a lot of Vipers. I'm building more Hydras. And all these, whenever like I move in for an engage, I sniped like a good amount of units and didn't really lose anything.
Okay.
So I felt like the game was going in my favor. But he has a lot of Widow Mines right now, so.
Yeah, he's definitely building a very scary army. His upgrades 2-2 for his mech. Your upgrades, if we compare that, 3-2, so you have an advantage. You're going to have some lings now, maybe thinking about doing a little bit of run-by, because mech is very, very mobile. But he's now going to take another expansion. You're going to see it because you have the creep, and immediately now, is this kind of your signal to move out?
Well, I'm already on the map. I just want to kind of keep map control and try to find a good spot to engage the mech army. Because if you can beat a mech army once, then you have a huge advantage in the game, even if you don't automatically win it. And I tried to go in here and it doesn't work at all.
Wow.
I lose everything they Widow Mines.
Widow Mine's pretty strong.
So that's not the engager wanted, but I wasn't that concerned. I'm building 10 Ultralisk now, and I still have all my Vipers, and I don't know what I was doing there with that.
So I mean, I kind of feel like even though that engagement didn't really go in your favor, you have so much money and so much gas that you can just remax on Ultras, and he's mainly still on siege tanks, Widow Mine, and Thors. But this army, it may not look like it's huge, but it's definitely very scary just because he has a pretty high amount of Widow Mines. And now you're going into a Nidus network. I love that option. Tell me a little bit about that. Is it just because mech is very mobile, it's going to be very hard for him to defend around the entire map?
Yeah, sometimes you can make Niduses work really well against mech, and I had an Overlord in a good position, and I had a lot of money too, so money isn't a concern in this situation. And also, I think when you're going Ultralisk, then Nidus is pretty good against mech. If you're going Broodlord, there's no point in going Nidus. You just kill them with the Broodlords. You want to kill them before they get that many Raven. But when you go Ultralisk, you kind of want to snipe bases and like wear down the economy, wear down their unit count slowly. This push is kind of difficult to fight. I think Ultralisk can take a lot of Widow Mine hits, so I can just kind of charge through it. If you notice, I led in the battle with the Ultralisk and then followed into the Vipers.
Yeah.
You have to make sure not to let the Vipers go in first, because then the Widow Mines just kill those, which is isn't what you want. But he has some battle lanes killing my base down here, but I'm not too concerned because I have a ton of money. I'm still, well, I'm not maxed, but I can max anytime I want. And
the Nidus in the main,
killed his army.
I don't even think he sees this, man. He's kind of really worried about killing your expansions, and it's actually gonna finish. So where's the units, Michael? Nothing's gonna come out.
I have some Lings building and going into it now.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
it was
yeah.
a bit late. Now he noticed it too, unfortunately, and I didn't actually notice it.
I don't think you noticed that, to be honest, but you're kind of in the center of the map already. You have a lot of Ultras. He's not making any Marauders to really deal with it. The Vipers, of course, you kind of mentioned they're very gas intensive, so you need to keep them alive. So you're still continuing to send your Ultras forward. Swarm Hosts in the production tab. Now, I've been talking to a lot of Zerg players about that unit. Some like to use it defensively just because they spawn free locusts. Some people don't even like using it. They think it's a terrible unit for Zerg. Tell me a little bit your opinion on Swarm Hosts and what you think they're going to be used for. Oh, nice little abduct there, lifting up the Ultras. That's kind of cute, man. I like that.
Yeah, I should have used the Nidus to get them away here too. I don't even think I sniped this. I think it's just a waste, even though it looked kind of cool. But onto the Swarm Hosts, I think they're horrible. In most cases, they're good in a couple of cheeses, and they're good in ZVZ, but ZVT and ZVP, so far I've found that they're kind of not that good, because Protoss is usually building splash damage units anyway, like Colossi, and Colossi kill Locusts really well, and any Terran army can kind of kill Locusts without that much trouble. If you hit like a quick timing with Swarm Host against like a 2-base player who's going like Hellion Banshee or something, you can kill them with that a lot of the time. But if you take it to like mid and late game, they take up a lot of supply, and the Locusts aren't that effective. Like the later the game goes, the more units he has, the less effective they are. I found so far. And I feel like they take away a lot of mobility from the army too.
Okay.
Because you can move around the map with them and send Locusts pretty far away from the army, but it's harder to engage with the army and the Swarm Host at the same time, because like the Locust move speed is slower, they clog up your units, and
they're very fragile too. I mean, if the Terran just has a Raven, they can just focus it down, and that's a huge amount of supply that is basically gone. So I kind of agree with you. Swarm Hosts, I mean, most Zergs, I'm just gonna go ahead and say it, don't like the unit just because it doesn't seem like it's very useful. We never know though, it's just a beta, so people might start using it a little bit more. So now we're going to see Mario kind of pressure again. I'm going to go ahead and pause just to see how this engagement goes. So mainly your army, Hydras, Ultras, and these Vipers. How many Vipers do you have? You have 4 Vipers. And he kind of has a good position, but I'm really curious to see how this engagement's going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and resume the replay. We have the Blinding Cloud going on in the battle hands. Of course, they're not really going to do anything. The Terran's basically blinded. And, wow, so you're kind of cleaning it up, and he doesn't have many siege tanks to really do anything, and I feel like that was definitely good engagement here for you, and these Hydras doing some good DPS. So Hydras look like they're definitely a lot better here in Heart of the Swarm compared to Wings of Liberty.
I don't think they're that much better, actually. Like, they move faster, but Roach Hydra was really good at the end of Wings of Liberty. I think a lot of people just didn't recognize it, besides Stefano. But I think, especially against Mech, the composition was really good in Wings of Liberty, too. And I think his downfall in that fight was his composition was kind of bad. The battle hands are really, really good early mid-game. Against like Roach Hydra, they take a ton of damage. But against Ultralisk, they take a lot of damage from the Ultralisk flash, and they don't actually do that much damage to Ultralisk either. So I think if he had like a lot more tank and Thor instead of those Hellions, he would have traded much better in that fight.
I definitely feel like, yeah, that's a really good point. He only had like 4 siege tanks in that engagement. I feel like if he would have had maybe a few more, he would have been able to maybe eke out the win in that battle. But I mean, you're slowly but surely just kind of having him a little bit starved. He's trying to take an expansion here. You have a whole bunch of creep there. He has that upper right, which is basically his 5th expansion. He's going to run some Hellions. That's a lot of Hellions. So all of a sudden, he's kind of in a position now where he has to kill some kind of, you know, some of your drones, basically to eliminate your economy so you won't make any units, but you're basically going to spot it. Ultras are going to try to run around, and you're pretty confident at this stage in the game. You're kind of, you know, keeping him pinned back, not really able to expand, right?
Yeah, I feel like I've kept a pretty good hold of the game. I've traded pretty well. That last fight, I killed his whole army and didn't lose that much at all. And I feel like I'm in a pretty good spot at this point.
So what do you make of these Hellions? Is this kind of a little bit of a desperation move from him? I mean, he's only making Hellions, and you have Ultras and Hydras, and I don't think Hellions don't do anything against that. So I kind of just think he's trying to kill off bases to really come back in this game. But his economy is not too bad. I mean, your economy is way better than his right now. You have like 5,000 minerals almost. And all you really have to do is defend. So battle cruisers in the production tab. That's going to be a little bit of a surprise, but we'll see how you defend it. I mean, he's still doing these counterattacks. Battle cruisers, what do you make of the battle cruisers, man? They're pretty good against Ultras.
Yeah, I think Sky Terran is really good in Heart of the Swarm. If they can get off like half battle cruiser, half Raven, then I mean it was already good in Wings of Liberty, but I think it's even better because of the low cost of Hunter Seeker missile. It does less damage, but you can transition to it a lot easier than in Wings of Liberty. Because with the upgrade for Ravens, each one comes out with a Hunter Seeker missile already as soon as it finishes.
Still Battle Hellions running around. So he's basically just trying to keep you kind of pinned back as he's making these battle cruisers. I mean, units count, he's up to 8. You're going to make some corruptors now. So let me just pause. I want to see if you scouted these battle cruisers. No, but you're making corruptors, so I'm assuming. I mean, this late in the game, you can assume that a Terran can be transitioning into BCs. So 11 corruptors. Okay, you're making a Greater Spire, so you're probably thinking Broodlords at this stage, right?
Yeah, or Broodlords. Yeah, I'm definitely transitioning at this point.
Okay.
I was actually. I get kind of lucky in this game because I was doing the transition to Broodlord when I saw the battle cruiser. So I just made a lot of corruptors, and then I see battle cruisers, and I'm like, oh, well, these would be useful.
Yeah.
So that was definitely fortunate for me.
Okay, so Mario being a little bit chatty there, who called in the fleet. Pretty good clue that he has some battle cruisers on the map, I would say. So now he's just gonna kind of reveal them. You're both basically maxed. I feel like this is kind of a last-ditch effort here for Mario to kind of try to kill you with these species, but you have plenty of corruptors. You're making more. There's 11 more corruptors. You have infestors for fungal, which I mean they're not so good, but I mean I feel like you're gonna have enough corruptors. Plus you have the vipers. So you're gonna abduct the battle cruisers. Excuse me. Corruptors are gonna kill the battle cruisers, and it's going to be a close battle, though. The Infested Terran's right under the battle cruisers, so they're going to do a little bit of damage, not too much, though. So I feel with this many corruptors, I mean, the Ultras basically kill everything on the ground. You should be able to win this, you know, pretty easily.
Yeah, I think one of his big mistakes in this point was that he attacks with the battle cruisers before he has a lot of them. And I think if he just kept Hellion harassing and sat back into a lot of battle cruiser and Raven, then he would have won this game. But he kind of gets overly aggressive and confident and doesn't think I have a response for them and attacks with so few battle cruisers.
Yeah, I think he kind of, I don't know if this is true, but I felt like he made battle cruisers and thought that he can just go and kill you, which you kind of mentioned he was a little bit overconfident. I definitely feel if he would have pulled back a little bit and made some more battle cruisers, even did a little bit more damage with the battle Hellions, would have been in a better position. But now you're just killing his expansions. You're still doing, we have some locusts here focusing down these planetary fortresses. And he's down in supplies. So basically at this stage, you can kind of just A-move and go kill him, really.
Yeah.
I feel like you're going to do that very soon, too. So 158 supply for you, 124. Mainly Ultras, Corruptors. What's he making in the production tab? Making some Widow Mines. Okay, so Mario can never get enough Widow Mines in this matchup. Now you're going to go kill the Planetary Fortress. Locust still doing some damage. Okay, so you kind of, you basically are just going to win this game very soon. He's not really mining. I mean, what's his income? 440. Yeah, he's not really mining at all, really. And you're kind of mining a good amount of bases. You have one base, you have two bases, I have basically 3 bases mining. Yeah, it's near the end here for Mario, basically.
Yeah. But that's kind of composition he went for is what QXC has been doing a lot with like kind of heavy Widow Mine, heavy Battle Hellion, and like between like 5 and 15 Siege Tank. And if you push with that before there's Broodlord or Viper, then it's so difficult to deal with because it beats Roach Hydra, it beats like Ling compositions. And I think that's a pretty strong composition, and a lot of Terrans on ladder haven't figured that out yet. But
Yeah, I agree. I mean, people know that Widow Mine is a good unit. They just have not really experimented enough in different situations to be able to use it. QXC is definitely a guy, I'm pretty sure you guys practiced a lot when you were on Complexity. Definitely a smart player to kind of go through builds with. And Mario is still trying to come back in this game, I guess, with Widow Mines and Hellbats, trying to kill your hatcheries. You're going to have some Hydras. You can pretty much max out on Lings if you want at this stage. You're killing his natural. He's not. It's over.
Hellbats do pretty decent DPS to buildings, but I mean at this point he can't come back.
They seem to kill hatcheries really, really quickly too.
Yeah, if you like run over with like 8 or 12 Battle Hellions to a base, you can take out the hatchery pretty quick. I mean, Stim Bio kills it quicker, but Battle Hellions do a lot higher DPS than normal Hellions.
So Mario kind of going for that final push with 54 supply, mainly Widow Mines. You're going to have an Overseer, you're going to be able to clean it up. The Hydras and the Ultras going to be plenty. So now he's falling to 20 supply. It's basically going to be GG here soon for Mario. Hopefully he'll say it soon. But yeah, I mean, it's a pretty... Okay, there you go. You played well, GG. Okay, so good game. In fact, you played it pretty well. I liked the Ultralisk transition. Felt like the battle cruisers were going to be a little bit of a surprise just because you were going Greater Spire, but luckily you're going to have... You had like, what, 20 Corruptors already on the map?
Yeah, I had like 15 or 20 or something like that. And then if you just build more at that point, you can get so many Corruptors that you can deal with the battle cruisers pretty easily. It's not battle cruisers that are that scary. It's when they have like both battle cruiser and Raven. That's when you have to worry.
All right, cool, man. It was a lot of fun going over this replay with you. If you have any kind of shout-outs you want to give out, now's the time.
I think I gave some shout-outs in the interview. I think these are being released together.
Okay.
But shout-outs to my team, Millennium, our sponsors. I don't know them all that well yet.
All the Millennium sponsors
I hope I don't
out
miss
there.
any. All of them, Numericable, Winamax, C-Discount, whatever other sponsors we have.
Okay, cool. That's a good shout-out. I like that.
Shout-outs to Clarity Gaming, too. You guys are awesome. And, yeah, I guess that's it.
All right, cool. Thanks, man. It was a pleasure talking to you. Best of luck in all the upcoming tournaments, and I'll see you later.
Yeah, see you later.